Ace alive. Now I can already see the pouring amount of dislikes that are about to come to this video, and I know what you guys are probably thinking, yo, what's up with you, Mac? Yo, why are you talking about Ace being alive? Yo, is this gonna be one of those crazy theories of Ace still being alive and like all that and that blah blah? And I'm telling you guys right now, I'll be serious right now, this is not no theory of Ace being alive. I believe Ace is dead. He was buried, he's finished, he's dead. I'm not trying to make no video on which I'm trying to throw out some BS of how he survived of some way. This is a video revolving around the death of Ace, one of the biggest impacts in the One Piece story, if not the biggest impact in the One Piece story. And like I said, before you dislike, this isn't like an alternate theory. It's like a what if video. What if Ace survived Marineford? What if he survived? And what if he lived on after Marineford? This is like a what if video. So I thought I'd leave my thoughts on what I think would happen. Now, I don't think this is going to be 100% going to happen if he survived, but it's kind of like my fanfic in which I think what will happen, judging by some of the information we got after and before, and it's going to be very litty. Now, the first thing we have to get down and understanding is Marineford is one of the greatest arcs. Personally, it's my #1 favorite arc. After I first watched it, it was my #1. After I sat on it, I was like, maybe some other arcs my favorite, maybe Sabaodi's my favorite, or maybe Enies Lobby's my favorite. But then after rereading it multiple times, Marineford is my favorite arc. I think it's the greatest arc, though I don't mind if you guys have Enies Lobby or another arc which you guys love. To be honest, yo, I got Fishman Island in my top 5 and people hate me for that, so I love the arc of Marineford, and it would play out much differently if Ace survived. That's 100%. I think we all understand that Marineford would have a lot of different circumstances. Now, the one thing I do not want to change when it comes to this alternate what if Ace survived is Ace's personality. And now I know if Ace survives, you're probably thinking, yo, he has to continue running, he can't go back and fight Akainu. But personally, I feel like he has to go back and fight Akainu because it's his personality. We know Goldie Roger was like just like Ace, because father and son, they both do not run away when their crews are being insulted, and Ace was hearing the insult of Whitebeard after he was about to sacrifice his life. Ace cannot take it, so I will not change that. I do think that Ace will go back and fight Akainu, and I think that it'll be tough to change. It's like changing a man's personality. He would have to do it. So in the clash of Ace and Akainu, Akainu would be superior, just like in the same way of the manga and anime. But I do think that when Luffy is about to be attacked by Akainu, instead of Ace coming to sacrifice himself, his body, and pretty much his death coming, I believe Jimbe, yes, the Knight of the Sea, will come instead and block the attack. If Jimbe blocks the attack, Ace is scot-free, Luffy is scot-free, and Jimbe, we've seen that he was able to block Akainu's manga fist one time in the manga and the anime, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to block it, though I do think that once he blocks Akainu's attack, Akainu will be ruthless, reckless, and Jimbe might suffer. I think it's a most likely chance that Jimbe would die instead of Ace. So if you guys want Ace to survive in this, well, personally, if I think Ace survives, I think one other character has to die, and we know that I think Jimbe would die, because we know Jimbe said he wanted to die at Marineford. He did not want to survive the Marineford arc. If you guys did not know, he wanted to sacrifice himself for Whitebeard, all the things that Whitebeard has done. He felt like it would be an honorable death if he died in this war, so it's kind of like he kind of completed his wish at the time. So yo, it's crazy. Now I do think that Ace and Luffy, yes, Portgas D Ace and Monkey D Luffy, will continue their escape, and while they're trying to escape, yes, after Jimbe does, I believe in my fanfic of what if he does die. And the funny thing is, people think, yo, you're disrespecting Jimbe. Jimbe's my top 5 favorite character. It would be heartbreaking if he died, and I do not think in the original story that Jimbe will die like everybody says, but in this situation of Ace surviving, I think Jimbe would have to die, just like he said he would have to die in Marineford. And I feel like while Ace and Luffy are trying to escape, Marco and the Whitebeard pirates, and even Crocodile, like we see in the original, will actually help out to fight Akainu and hold him back for a little bit, thus giving Ace and Luffy a huge amount of time in which they can actually continue their escape and progress even better. Now we know in the original story, Whitebeard had come to rage, yo. Whitebeard was all red. He was pissed off that Ace died from the death because Akainu killed him. So we know in the original, Whitebeard went to attack Akainu. I think in this one, Whitebeard will not go to attack Akainu, because I guess Whitebeard really respects Jimbe, kind of like yo, he sees Jimbe as like his own crew, to be honest. But let's be honest here, Jimbe, I don't think Whitebeard would be that pissed off at Jimbe. Jimbe's a grown man, yo. So I think Whitebeard would continue his onslaught. He would feel kind of bad for Jimbe, but he would continue his onslaught of Marineford and let the other Whitebeard pirates and the commanders deal with Akainu, thus having Whitebeard versus the Marineford, the Marines, and he would try to destroy it. And I think that I said this in another video, I think he would actually awaken his ability. Thus, we've seen Doflamingo how he awakened his ability, all the surrounding buildings. Yeah, Whitebeard awakening with his Dull Fruit ability. Yeah, his fruit power, which is an earthquake power. Yeah, that would be very destructive. I think Garp and Sengoku would have to step in, and it would be so crazy seeing this huge amount of power from Whitebeard, kind of like his signing off. Now, I do think if Ace survived, the Blackbeard Pirates will still arrive. Yes, I think they will arrive during the awakening of Whitebeard in this situation and Whitebeard's rampage. And I do think that it will be way more difficult for Blackbeard to take Whitebeard's fruit, because how Whitebeard did not suffer crazy injuries to the Akainu fight, so we wouldn't see half of Whitebeard's face gone and all that stuff. So I do think it will be way more difficult for Blackbeard to actually take Whitebeard's fruit. But I think the fact that all White Blackbeard's crew is there, level 6 prisoners, I think they would still be able to take out Whitebeard and take his fruit. But it'll be, like I said, it'll be much more difficult because Akainu didn't give that crazy damage to Whitebeard, and I feel like they would have to go high difficulty. They'll be like pretty much so exhausted after the situation, taking the fruit. Yeah, it's gonna be very crazy, and thus Whitebeard is actually in his awakening form too. Yeah, there's gonna be crazy stuff. They would have to actually stop his awakening, and you all saw how difficult it was to stop Doflamingo's awakening. Yeah, all the Blackbeard pirates would have to go 150% high difficulty trying to take him out. Now, the character of Kobe, who a lot of people in the One Piece community do not like, I do think he would still obtain observation haki. I know it's gonna be crazy, yo, Kobe observation haki. Yes, because we know that all the Marines dying will still happen, so I think he will obtain observation haki. But I do not think that Kobe will actually go against Akainu, the strongest Marine in my personal opinion. Well, I know at the time there's some arguments with Garp and Akainu, but I feel like he would not step in front of Akainu and give the speech like he would have in the original story, and thus making Akainu's goal to defeat Ace and Luffy much easier, and is to continue his onslaught of destroying the lineage of Monkey D Dragon and Gold D Roger. So in this situation, I can see Luffy and Ace cornered by Akainu, cornered by the Red Dog, cornered by Sakazuki, and out of nowhere, remember how Shanks saved Kobe? Well, instead, Shanks actually saves the brothers and comes out of nowhere, and it's gonna be very crazy because we know in this situation, yo, Shanks came out of nowhere and stopped Akainu. I mean, that's a big feat right there. Whitebeard is the only one I've seen personally stopping Akainu at Marineford. So Shanks comes out of nowhere and stops him. It's gonna be very epic. We know Ace and Shanks had a relationship. Luffy had a way more stronger relationship with Ace, as Luffy pretty much sees Shanks as a role model, and thus it will be kind of sad seeing that because we know Shanks did not want to see Luffy at Marineford in the original storyline, and this will actually make Shanks forced to see Luffy in this situation unless Luffy was knocked out. But I do not think Luffy will be knocked out by the anything. People have been theorizing that Shanks used Conqueror's Haki and knocked out Kobe. Who knows? But it'll be kind of I'm kind of iffy on the whole situation of Shanks and Luffy meeting, though I do think that Ace and Luffy would have to continue running and they would not meet. Shanks and Luffy would not meet, and I think Luffy is so he'll be so tired it will be kind of hazy. But yeah, now I do think Shanks is gonna stop the war just like he did in this original storyline, but it's gonna be much more difficult. Look, we're actually gonna have to see some abilities by Shanks and his crew. Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, Yasop, and the rest of his gang are gonna have to go all out and fight, because we know Blackbeard is gonna be there. We know Whitebeard might be in the midst of his awakening. You know, the Marines are gonna try to be stopping Blackbeard and Whitebeard. It's gonna be a whole cluster of crazy powers and abilities. So I definitely do think that Shanks will stop the war, but he's gonna have to go to high. He's gonna show a lot of power. Like, Shanks gonna have to show a lot of power. Who knows? Automating off screen if Ace survived, and it's gonna be very epic, yo. Yonkos on Admirals. Yeah, very hyped to see Yonko commanders going at it. Now, the situation of Luffy not being damaged by Akainu's fist in the whole situation when Jimbe was carrying Luffy and he got the scar on his chest, that would not happen. So Luffy would not be as tired, though he did get the Ivankov situation, so he would be a little bit tired because Ivankov gave him those hormones. So I don't think Luffy will actually meet Trafalgar Law, and this is going to be very crazy because we know the reason why Luffy and Law had such a relationship at Punk Hazard was because Luffy felt indebted to him. So Luffy and Law's relationship will not get started, and Law, he might give them a ride in the submarine, but I think that would be highly unlikely. So Luffy and Ace would have to leave with some other way. Who knows? Boa Hancock taking a marine ship and bringing them with him. Who knows? It's going to be very crazy, but I do not think Luffy and Law will meet like they did pre-time skip in the original storyline. Now, Luffy seeing all these crazy powers and abilities, he might wait a year or two to go to the New World. He might know he's not strong enough. He might even get trained by Rayleigh. But in this situation, I think that he actually will continue the 3 days, and it wouldn't cancel out to go 2 years, 3-day 2Y. I think he'll actually go 3 days and meet up with the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates, and they might actually jump into the New World without training like they did in the original storyline. Now, that's going to be very crazy because we know the first island was that Thunder Island, and there's going to be so much other stuff that would happen. They're going to be very weak. Yes, they're going to be very weak when it comes to Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates in the situation. So I'm very hyped to see if they just jump into the New World without experience, without training, just like the rest of the Worst Generation, and see all the crazy events that happen. Now, we know Sabo regained his memory when he saw that Portgas D Ace was died at the Marineford War. I do not think that Sabo will actually regain his memory. He'll continue being Sabo of the Revolutionary Army, a top tier, but I don't think he will regain his memory, which will be a very crazy twist. Now, we know Sabo in the situation of not regaining his memory, he might not even meet Luffy ever again, and he might not even meet Ace ever again. So it's gonna be crazy. If he doesn't regain his memory, he's just gonna continue doing what revolutionaries do. Though I do think if Luffy ever met his father, Sabo would be there, and maybe he might trigger his memory again, but who knows. And in this situation, instead of Sabo regaining his memories, I do not think he will actually regain his memories. Hody Jones. You're probably thinking, why am I mentioning Hody Jones in this video? Well, the reason why I'm mentioning Hody Jones is because I think he'll actually be successful in the events of Fishman Island. If Luffy goes straight to the New World and doesn't interact with Hody Jones 2 years later, then Luffy and Hody Jones, Luffy will not save Fisherman Island. And we know if Jimbe dies in the Marineford War, he would not save Fisherman Island. So Hody Jones would have no opposition in the situation of him taking over Fisherman Island and doing all of the evil things that he was planning to do. Hody Jones is a sicko, and he would actually succeed. Yeah, he would actually succeed. Aokiji versus Akainu, yes, that fight will still happen in midst of the time skip, and it will be a very entertaining fight. It will be very hype, it will be very epic, but I think the Punk Hazard arc will not happen. And the reason why I say this is because Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates would go straight to the next island. It might be that island that's raining down thunder, and Punk Hazard would not be a destination. We wouldn't see Smoker there. We wouldn't see the whole situation of Virgo. It's gonna be a very crazy stuff. But like I said earlier, Luffy and Law not meeting, and Luffy will not be indebted to Law. We know Luffy said he's indebted to a couple of people like Rayleigh, Jimbe, Law, and like the Whitebeard, but he's indebted to some people that helped him out big time in the pre-time skip. And if Law's not amongst those people, their relationship will not build, and no pirate alliance. Yes, these two crazy Worst Generation members, these two D members, will not have a pirate alliance. And all I can say is this: I can't even imagine this, yo guys. I can't even imagine this. All I can say is, bruh. Yes, I said they will go straight into the New World, and during the couple years during the New World, or a couple months, I do think they'll get powerful. They'll get as powerful as they did when they were training, but in other methods, they'll get it by experience, just like the other Worst Generation pirates did. And I think there's gonna be a crazy death in the Straw Hat Pirates, which probably think, okay, this guy is going too far, yo. You're going too far, Mac, yo. You're going crazy. And I don't mind, yo. This video is I'm throwing out everything in this video, to be honest. And I think there might be a huge death in the Straw Hat Pirates that help them and get a wake-up call in the New World and get stronger and stronger. Now, who will that death be? I don't know, to be honest, yo. I don't even want to put a name out there, yo, because the Straw Hat Pirates, yo, I love them. So if I put a name out there, that would be mad disrespectful. Now, I do think that the Payback War will still happen. Blackbeard versus the Whitebeard remaining pirates, led by Marco. And who knows, after a year later, Ace might have got stronger at this Payback War, and he might be the actual captain of the Whitebeard pirates, leading them, just like Squardo's theorized when Whitebeard knocked that down. Ace, the captain with a stronger ability, leading against Blackbeard. Yeah, it'll be a very interesting fight, and I think that this fight will be much more difficult for Blackbeard than it was when he was fighting Marco and the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates and overwhelmingly defeated them. If Ace is there, that's a huge difference, and it'll be very hyped. But the thing about this video, when I talk about Ace and Ace surviving, like an alternate theory, a what if video, I think if Ace still survived, he would pass away, making all of this very pointless. Yes, I think this is going to be very spooky. Ace, all the situation of him surviving at Marineford, just for him to die at the Payback War. Oh man, oh man, oh man. We know Blackbeard wanted that fruit on his crew. We seen in the original storyline he sent Burgess to get that power, so yeah, it's gonna hurt. But I think if Ace survived, he might have just died. Now, I'll be honest here, a lot of people have already disliked this video. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, Mac? Yo, what are you on, yo? This is just a fanfic, an alternate theory, a what-if video. And I know I should have done more effort into some of these details, going into more details on why I believe in this situation. But I wanted to do this video real quick, and I wanted to get it out real quick. And yo, I'm telling you guys right now, yo, this is a spooky situation. If Ace survived, yo, I've been thinking about what if Ace survived. That would be very, very entertaining when it comes to Ace and his storyline and Luffy's interaction. Yeah, I didn't even talk about Luffy and Ace having interaction, but if Ace died at the Payback War, oh my gosh, yo, just to survive Marineford, just to die later on, maybe it was just his destiny. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think would happen if Ace survived? Yes, I'm calling you guys out now. What would happen if Ace survived? What do you disagree about this video? What do you agree about? And put down your what if situation if Ace survived, because I want to hear, and I think it's gonna be very hype. Like and share if you enjoyed, like and share only if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the LegendMac, and I'm gone.